right, you guys. All right, all right. What's up, everybody? Log in. Log in United Music Science and everybody on our team. This is BAP. This is BAP here with the United Jazz Academy, United Institute. And just want to let you guys know that this is the last of our free course, the last of our Black History Month free course. I mean, you know, we got the shortest month, Black History Month. We wouldn't even need this if the people would tell the truth. But we're going to go through this course. It's been so exciting, you guys. So I hope you guys have gotten into the course. You know, it's been amazing. There's like over 6 hours of content there already. A lot of people are coming in. We've had guest people. Michael Clip Payne from P-Funk came by, and Ahmed Abdullah's been coming by. Dr. Rackle's been coming by. James Hurt's been coming by. I mean, it's been awesome, you know, and so many people. So you guys, if you've missed it so far, you can still get in. This week, we're going to have the last 3 sessions. All right, tomorrow at 5 p.m. live, and then we're going to go back Wednesday at 7. You don't want to miss Wednesday. You don't want to miss any of them, man. It's great. And the replays are there. You can check out the past month. We've been there all month, okay? So this is the last week. And Wednesday, Ahmed Abdullah is going to come in to give you some real insights on Sun Ra. And you know, we have some more special guests and surprises, okay? So don't miss this week. The last day is going to be Saturday at 1 p.m., okay? That's the grand finale. And we've been giving a lot of prizes away. People have been winning, and we're going to have some more surprises this week, okay? So please come in on Saturday, you guys, all right? This week, all right? And let me just give you guys a little brief heads up on what we've been doing so far in this course, right? So this is They Came Before Hip Hop. Let me bring myself back. They Came Before Hip Hop, all right? The history of black music from antiquity to modern times, all right? And, you know, music doesn't have any color, but we have to use these terms because I didn't invent these terms. These are the terms that were thrown on me, like classical music, thrown on us. Jazz, black people, white people, all this bullshit, okay? So we're going to get into the real history, you guys, because black history is world history when you really know the history, okay? So get on in there, and what we've covered so far, you guys, has been amazing. You know, we've been going over the first music notation, you know, in ancient Egypt. I don't know if you guys can see the instruments in this picture, but we went over that in one of the courses, one of the days. And we've been going through the whole history of the world, you know, from antiquity to modern times, right? With the music. The music tells the truth, okay? So all the scientists know, and you guys are way behind. If you cannot accept this, you're so far behind, it's just ridiculous. You have to catch up, you know, but it's just accept it, man. You know, we all come from a common ancestor, a common mother, by the way, a common black woman that lived on the continent of Africa, you know? And so that is the science, the scientists, that is the facts of humanity, our planet. Later, we've transferred into what you call different, I guess, hues, races, you guys call them, nationalities, you guys are Chinese and Japanese and European, American, all that stuff is later, man. All that stuff is installed later, along with greed and racism, by the way, installed. All right, but this is the history, origins of woman, man, and music. We all come from a common ancestor. We're all brothers and sisters on this planet, and we have to start looking out for the common good. You know, with this year, with the time that we're living in, we have to get past this. So that's what this history course is all about. Because when you understand this, you're gonna swing. You're not going to swing if you're a racist or you have any of this even dormant or latent, or it's not your fault. It's not your fault because that's what they taught us, you see. They taught us that Africa had no history. But we find out, and we know now, that's all the civilizations and all of the innovations in the arts and music and scientists, they all come out of Africa, okay? So we've been covering this, but when you talk about music, music's at the center. It's always at the center of our culture. It's our universal language, and in antiquity and on through today, it's at the center of African culture. It's at the very center. Okay, so we went through this history. This is this is ancient Egypt. They had music back then for different reasons. Okay, and we talked about this in the workshop. So you guys come on, and we talked about Imhotep. He's the designer of the first step pyramid, not the mummy. And so we talked about the first doctor, he's the first physician, the first musical physician. And so we talk about this history. Okay, this is way before, we're talking about 3,000 years BC. Okay, so there's another picture, the harp. All of the all of the instruments today that you find, they have their blueprint in Africa, in the ancient African instruments, in the ancient African orchestras. Okay, so we talked about the first music notation. We talked about some of the ancient kingdoms. You know, the ancient kingdoms of Kemet, Balad, Suzanne. Oh man, we went over ancient Ethiopia. I mean, we've covered like about 100,000, couple 100,000 of years of history in the course so far. So the replays are up, you guys. And if you think you're too young to change the world, you know, King Tut was a teenager when he became the pharaoh. Okay, so you're never too young. Education is age. There's a lot of old people around here like dinosaurs, very dumb. Okay, so then we talked about the West African kingdoms, you guys. The West African kingdoms are so important because these people, you know, are direct. We're all descendants. We're all related. They're all related. But when we talk about the music, and we talk about jazz, blues, hip hop, all of this music you guys listening to, you can trace it back, you know, the values back to these ancient African societies. So, you know, a lot of people don't know that Ghana was the ancient kingdom of Ghana. You know, it was the richest kingdom in the world at the time, in Mali. And we went through all of this history and some of the music. So it's very important to understand, you know, what happened, not only just from a musical perspective, but the whole perspective of the world. Because that's what's going to build your concept as an artist. You know, one thing Jay Mack used to teach all of you guys is you're never going to play something new until you know what's old, you know. And if you don't have a strong concept, you know, then, you know, you're not going to grow like you should, okay? So this is strengthening our roots, strengthening your roots. These are your roots, man. These are our roots. You know, it's not black history. This is history, okay? West African kingdoms, Ghana, Mali, Songhai. Okay, that's older than the United. Ghana is older than the United States times twice. You know, when you look at the United States, we're 200 something years old, man. I mean, we're like a baby. When you look at the ancient history of the world of civilization, we're like a baby, man, with diapers on. You know, so you guys get hip, all right? Because the music, American music, is the hippest music in the world. Everybody knows that. It's become the world music, African American music. And so this is the connection, because it didn't start in America, all right? It didn't start in America, it goes back, all right? It goes back. We talked about some of the instruments, like the Awe drum family. It's the West African drum family. These are played as a family. You have a papa drum, a mama drum, and then you have the kids, the baby drums. And we talked about the whole construction of the orchestra and the whole music experience. You know, music in Africa includes dance, includes storytelling, everything. This is at the center of African culture. So we talked about the orchestras, different orchestras, and how the structure of the hierarchy of the master drummer who played the Astu Meru, that tall drum right there, you see, and you just can't walk up and play that sucker. All right, so they had thousands of years of music history up until then. Okay, that's why the rhythm is so advanced. Okay, and then we talked about, you know, moved on, and we moved so fast. We talked about a little bit about the early music from the Moors. This is Zeryab. He was one of the most famous musicians, artists, astronomers, and stylists of his time, you know. And he actually taught us a lot about culinary. You know, before the Moors came into Europe, everybody would just eat their food, but he brought in eating in courses, like you know, appetizer, main meal, dessert, you know. And so we can attribute a lot of this stuff to Zeryab and a lot of the early music notation that we use today. All right, but this history you don't know about because they had to lie. They had to lie to justify the slave trade. They had to lie and say that Africans didn't have a history. They had to lie and say that lie about religion, lie about everything. This is another Moor. This is Saint Maurice and the Pope, and so, you know, the Moors were vast. They weren't just one nation or one type of people, but a lot of the innovations in music and in society today we can attribute to this time. But they erased this, man. They had to erase this history. They had to erase this when the slave trade came, and erase all of the history of Africa to justify it, just to justify it. So you guys been lied to. You guys are still being lied to. All right. You don't know who Maurice Chevalier de St. George is, but you know who Mozart is. There's never any racism amongst musicians. Never any racism amongst musicians. Musicians from the time immemorial, we can get along because we speak the universal language, right? And so this guy, you can look him up, but we talked about him in the course. He was a contemporary of Mozart, but totally erased from history. Some of his music is still here, but he was also a swordsman. He was like the famous fencer in Europe, swashbuckler, and actually he had a sword competition, man, and they were this guy, he was supposed to fight another guy, and he was talking about his mama and stuff, insulting him, man. So when they got into the thing, he had a sword, and this guy's one arm, his shirt fell off, and his other arm flapped, and his shirt, boom, he's naked, man. That's what the Zorro, when you see Zorro, when he undress a cat with the sword, that's what Chevalier, that's what that legend comes from, you guys. So believe me or not, but you guys been lied to, very much so. And so we're going to break it real simple for you. There's 3 divisions in all of traditional African music. You got secular, non-secular, and esoteric. And you got 3 divisions across music today. Labels and genres are not the same, okay? And we talked about these 4 characteristics, like polyrhythms. Polyrhythms is many rhythms, polyphony, counterpoint, many melodies. Syncopation is jagged rhythm on the upbeat, like James Brown. All of black music has syncopation. That's what makes it swing. Antiphony is call and response. We make a call, you guys can respond, all right? So those are the basic 4 characteristics that go across all African music, traditional African music, and all African American music, all music in the world. Because I'm using these terms, man, but we have to get past these terms. But this is history, you guys, So, there's one more element that musicians need to understand in music. That's your spirit. The 5th characteristic in music is the spirit of the music. What is the spirit of your music? What is your spirit? What is your spirit? Do you consider yourself disconnected from this history? Or can you connect to it? Can you connect? And if you can connect, you're going to play your ass off, all right? Because this is where the magic lies, okay, you guys? All right, so the spirit is so important. And the spirit changes with the Atlantic slave trade. We didn't play for the same purposes in Africa as we did after the slavery, you see. So you got to have the survival, and you have to, we talked about all of this. This is the worst topic that I like talking about. I hate to talk about this, but we have to. And but we went over this, okay? So the replays are up. But this music changed. This music had changed to where the black people, where our ancestors were taken, and where the music has evolved in these different places. But you have to add the other element there, the spirit of the music, the spirit of faith and hope and survival, you see, because this happened because of lies and because of these scourges of racism and greed. Racism and greed. Those are the 2 scourges and lies on the planet, you guys. So we have to look out for our common good. But the whole economy today is based on this, you guys. And you can say, I would never, we're not slaves or slave masters today. Maybe my family didn't have anything to do with the slave trade. But you're in the system, cats. And this racism and greed still exists today. It's there. And it wasn't always there when you look at history. So if it wasn't always there, then it can be removed, right? It can be removed. And music always has a lot to do with removing it. All you have to do is look at the music of the spirit of the African diaspora. So wherever we went, wherever we are, you have the tree, all right? And this is our tree. The ancestors, the generations is the trunk. The many styles are the different branches of this music, and then the artists are like the fruit. We're here for a limited time. We get taken, eaten up, and that's it, you know. But the tree is there. The tree is always going to be there, you guys. So strengthen your roots. You dig? Strengthen your roots. Come on into this course. We've gone over last week. We went over antebellum music, the blues, the elements of the blues, the field hollers, the work songs, the sorrow songs, all of those elements there. And we also went over Congo Square. You know, Congo Square is where those three divisions of music, they go into the blues, the spirituals, and the esoteric, the secret messages. Secret messages in black music, and especially in black music and jazz. There's always hidden messages in that. There's esoteric, spirituals, and the blues. Or you could say secular, non-secular, and esoteric, just like in the ancient times, right? But now we're playing for survival, and we're playing for hope, and we're playing as an answer to the lies, right? So we went over a lot of this history, right on up to ragtime in different parts of America, like Sedalia, Missouri, and what was going on there, all the great musicians that gathered there and grew a new style of music called classical ragtime. You know, we have people like Louis Chauvin, Tom Turpin, and of course the most famous Scott Joplin. All right, so we went over some of his history in Sedalia and his innovations in classical ragtime, okay? And then we talked about New Orleans, okay? Storyville, and the great innovations that was happening there. And some of those great artists that were going on in New Orleans, like, you know, like Jelly Roll, man. Jelly Roll invented so many. He brought so much to the music. But you see, it's not just one cat. It's always like a movement going on, a rhythmic thing happening in the community, and certain musicians evolve as the masters, you know, like Jelly Roll. You know, but Jelly Roll was a great composer and wrote some pieces that became the blueprint later on for another era in this music, you know, and that's how it happens. It's always overlapping, you guys, like a tree. You always go back to the ancestors. But Jelly Roll was a real character. We talked about him in the course, so you guys can go back. And Buddy Bolden, all right, the Trumpet King. We talked about the Trumpet King lineage of New Orleans. And Buddy Bolden, one of the first great improvisers of this music. No recordings of him, but you can check out his recording by listening to his disciple, Bunk Johnson. And we went through some of these Trumpet Kings, all right on up to King Oliver and the closing of New Orleans and what happened in Chicago. The great breakthrough that happened when, you know, King Oliver called for Louis, and Louis went up to Chicago and they formed this group, and then, you know, the whole history of jazz started to really catch on in America, you see. But Chicago, a lot was happening there, and it's King Oliver, you know, Louis Armstrong, and Lil Hardin, and the great band that they had. Okay, so this is just a real fast forward. I mean, we're covering so much topics. We talked about James Reese Europe. We talked about him. He's the king of jazz. You know, the real king of jazz, according to U.B. Blake, the king of jazz. You know, if you don't know the history, check it out in the course. Okay, incredible composer, incredible band leader, incredible leader. Okay, and so we talked about the architects of the big band. You know, Fletcher and Don Redman. You know, if you guys are smart enough, you get in your band, you get with the other musicians, that if someone plays better than you, you know, it's better to ally with them, you see. And so that's what Fletcher Henderson did. I mean, he pretty much took over a lot of bands and just took the stars out of bands and was taught by Don Redman. So and Coleman Hawkins was in his band. Louis Armstrong was in his band. So these guys were like the real architects of the big band era that came. And we talked about the modern music revolution last week, you know, with Bird and Dizzy and Monk and all of those disciples, Billy Eckstine and all the precursors before, like Lester Young, that came out of the big band. But then the modern music revolution, which we're still really in today, musically, and we talked about the theory of it and all of this stuff. Now, the three as we go in this week in these workshops, the last bit of our workshops, it's going to be really exciting because we're going to go from that period on up to today. All of the blues innovations, the jazz innovations, and the spiritual innovations, and of course the esoteric innovations. Okay, so we're not done yet, you guys. We're not done. We got 3 more exciting days. Okay, so tomorrow at 5, get in there. Okay, all right, get in there tomorrow at 5 p.m. It's live. And Wednesday is going to be really exciting because Wednesday at 7 p.m. we're going to have some guests. We're going to have Ahmed Abdullah, who was one of the disciples of Sun Ra, and he's going to give you some real insights on the esoteric sides of the music, and especially with Sun Ra. But we're going to talk about the avant-garde. We're going to talk about Thelonious Monk and Sun Ra, Herbie Nichols, all these great movements in the music, you know. So this is going to be an exciting week, you guys. This is our last week, all right, the last week of our course. And we're giving away a lot of prizes. A lot of people have been winning. And we've got some more surprises on Saturday, but we're going to be giving prizes this week. So come on in and join the raffle. We have a raffle, and it's been great, okay? So this is this week. They came before hip-hop. This is the last week, guys. And I hope to see you guys in there. It's tomorrow at 5 p.m. live, Wednesday at 7 p.m., and the last grand finale is going to be this Saturday at 1 p.m., okay? So the link is up. It's free. There's hours and hours of content. There's great interviews, different people, got a guest artist in our chat. Come and rub shoulders with everybody in the community, and I hope to see you guys there, okay? Thank you so much. Music and love equals peace. Bye-bye.